We open in San Diego, and right away the movie wants you to understand one thing about our main character, Nathan Kane. This man has built his entire life around being careful. He works as an assistant manager at a credit union. Safe job. Predictable hours. No surprises. Every morning, same routine. Wake up. Make a smoothie. Go to work. And if you look closely at his office, you'll notice something a little unusual. The doorknobs are padded. The pencils are covered. Every sharp edge, every hard corner, wrapped up, cushioned, protected. Because Nathan has a rare congenital condition called CIP, congenital insensitivity to pain. His nervous system simply does not register pain signals. Then one day, a woman named Sherry walks into his world, and everything changes. She works at the same credit union. She's warm, spontaneous, the kind of person who sneaks up behind you with a big smile and accidentally makes you spill hot coffee all over yourself, which is exactly how she and Nathan officially meet. And instead of it being awkward, it becomes an invitation. "Let me take you to lunch," she says. So they go. And over cherry pie and a milkshake, something quietly extraordinary happens. Sherry notices Nathan won't order the pie for himself. She pushes. He resists. And eventually, for the first time in possibly years, Nathan opens up. He tells her about his condition.
Basically makes it so I can't feel pain.
About the aquarium.
I have the power to step on a nail and not know until my shoe fills up with blood.
Right.
About the doctors who gave up on him. And Sherry doesn't pull back. She leans in. She puts a fork of cherry pie in front of him and says, "I'm right here. Chew softly." It's such a small moment. But for a man who has spent his whole life building walls to protect himself from a world that could accidentally destroy him without even trying, having someone say, "I'm right here," that hits different. That night, she invites him to her art gallery opening. Nathan's online gaming buddy Roscoe, who seems to be his only real friend, basically has to talk him into going. But he goes. And he's blown away. Her paintings are striking. Her backstory is even more so. She grew up bouncing between cities, in and out of foster homes, never really belonging anywhere. At 18, she just left and started over on her own. They end up back at his place. She explores his tattoos, ones he made himself to describe a fantasy that's still unfinished, still incomplete. Just like him. They spend the night together. For Nathan, this isn't just romance. This is the first time in his entire life that he has felt like someone genuinely sees him. The next morning, Nathan heads into work feeling like a completely different man. And then three men dressed as Santa Claus walk through the front doors of the credit union. I'll give the movie this, that's a choice. The Santas, led by a man named Simon, take the place hostage and demand Nathan open the vault. Nathan refuses. Simon shoots a guard named Nigel to make his point.
What the fuck? Wait! No!
Nathan, realizing this is now life or death, gives them the code. Simon and his partner Andre drive off with Sherry in one car. The third man, Ben, takes another car. Nathan wakes up from being knocked out, finds an injured police officer, ties a belt tourniquet around the officer's leg to stop the bleeding, because yes, he's read enough first aid books to know how, then grabs the cop's gun and car and goes after them. And here's where the movie completely shifts gears. Because Nathan Kane, the gentle, padded doorknob, smoothie-drinking assistant manager, is about to become extremely difficult to stop. He catches up to Ben. A fight breaks out. Ben shoots him. Nathan takes the bullet, barely reacts, and keeps going. Think about what that means for a fight. You can hit this man with everything you have. He will not flinch. He will not slow down. He does not tap out. Because his brain is simply not receiving the signal to stop. Ben loses. Nathan takes his phone, finds a message pointing to a location, his own workplace as the rendezvous point, and photographs a tattoo on Ben's arm for identification. He then drives to Earl's hardware store, yes, the elderly client he was helping earlier, and uses Earl's tools to cut the bullet out of his own body. He seals the wound with superglue. Then injects himself with an EpiPen to stay conscious. Just let that sink in. Meanwhile, police detectives Mincy and Cold Train are working the robbery scene. They're suspicious of Nathan, stolen cruiser, one dead body, no criminal record. Mincy calls him. Nathan answers, coolly, while he's en route to track down the tattoo artist who did Ben's ink. Leave it to us, Mincy says. If your daughter were kidnapped, Nathan replies, you'd do everything possible too. Mincy pauses. And she lets him keep going. He finds the tattoo artist, a man named Zeno. He was a big rough guy with extremist tattoos and a nasty attitude. What's happening with your hand? Oh, psoriasis. It started this morning. Nate lied. He showed Zahn a photo of Ben's tattoo and asked him to replicate it so he could identify the shop. You're gonna love this. Just say his last name. The artist recognized the dead robber from the photo. When Nate tried to press for the man's last name, Zen got defensive and grabbed a knife. I'm not going to hurt you. Okay, just put down the knife. Nate had already drawn a gun on him, but suddenly Zen's assistant knocked the barrel aside. Oh no. In the scuffle, Zen accidentally knocked a woman's teeth out, but the ambush failed and things stayed chaotic. Zena got furious and smashed the mirror against his opponent, sending shards flying everywhere. Nate seized the moment and began hammering the glass into his fists. What are you doing? Then the frostbitten clerk slashed Zena's face, even blinding him. To finally make the big guy talk, Nate grabbed a tattoo machine and started crossing out the swastika on his neck. And gets the name, Ben Clark, ex-military. With Roscoe working the digital side, Nathan gets a location, a building called North Tower. But first, he has to go through Ben's booby-trapped house. Tripwire number 1, a mace swings into his back. Tripwire number 2, a crossbow bolt hits him in the leg. Snare trap, Nathan ends up hanging upside down from the ceiling, calling Roscoe for help like nothing unusual is happening. That's when Andre shows up, Ben's brother. He finds Nathan dangling from the ceiling, realizes who he is, and the interrogation begins. Pliers. Knives. The works. Nathan takes every single bit of it. And when Roscoe finally arrives and causes enough chaos, Nathan gets free. The two friends were about to leave, but Andre regained consciousness and lunged at Nate. Ended up piercing Nate's palm. Oh sorry. Quickly correcting himself, Roscoe sprayed the thug with bear spray. Suddenly, another trap went off. A sledgehammer slammed into Roscoe's helmet and falling bricks crashed down on Andre. The scumbag, enraged, wrapped his hands around Nate's throat and began choking him. That's when Nate remembered the arrow still stuck in his leg. He ripped it out and drove it through Andre's head. A hell of a way to go. Minutes later, the police arrived at the house and ordered Nate to come out with his hands up. But come on, don't make this harder than it has to be. Okay. Instead, he jumped on Roscoe's bike and took off. However, he soon stopped. Under the helmet was a smug horror Roscoe, but with handcuffs on, it wasn't so funny anymore. Chubby promised to tell the cops where they could find Nate. Now here's where the film twists the knife. Back at the robber's base, we get a scene that reframes the entire first act. Sherry was never a random victim. She is Simon's sister. She has been part of this crew the whole time. Her job was to get close to Nathan, seduce him, and extract the vault code so the robbery would go smoothly.
But if you were able to get that vault code out of Loverboy, everyone would be alive right now, including Nigel.
Oh my god.
That's why she approached him at the coffee machine. That's why she invited him to the gallery. That's why she spent the night. All of it, engineered. The cherry pie. The vulnerability about foster homes. The scar marks on her body she let him see. The incomplete tattoo she seemed so moved by. All carefully constructed to make a lonely, isolated, gentle man feel chosen. She's furious at Simon, though, because he killed Nigel, and that wasn't part of the plan. She didn't sign up for murder. But Simon doesn't care. He just wants to move the money and get out. Nathan reaches the base. He gets the drop on Simon, holds him at gunpoint. For a moment, it looks like it's over. And then Simon tells him the truth about Sherry. She was always part of the plan. She never loved you. You're pointing the gun at the wrong bank robber. Nathan is destroyed. Everything he risked his life for, every bullet, every crossbow bolt, every trap, every moment of hope, was built on a performance. That she truly had feelings for him. But Nate's body was at its limit. He lost focus and Simon used the chance to close the distance, knocking him out with a couple of blows. The scumbag was about to crush Nate's head with a car, but at the last moment, Sherry ran into her brother to stop him. Simon put a gun to his sister's head. A shot rang out, but it was Simon himself who was hit. The cops had arrived just in time. Luckily, Nate had already told the police his story. Nate was strapped to a stretcher and loaded into an ambulance, but everyone seemed to forget about Simon. But Simon isn't finished. He kills Cold Train. Badly wounds Mincy. Then hijacks Nathan's ambulance and drives off. Meanwhile, Sherry helped the injured policewoman into a car and drove after Simon. She knew her brother was heading to the port. Inside the ambulance, Nathan, handcuffed to the stretcher, realizes who's driving. He dislocates his own thumb to slip the cuff free. Simon shoots at him. The gun ends up near Nathan. He grabs the defibrillator, uses it on both himself and Simon simultaneously. And the ambulance crashes and flips. When the smoke clears, Simon is at the door. He wasn't finished. He turned on Nate and began strangling him with a scalpel. Just as the policewoman and Sherry arrived at the port. The policewoman had lost a lot of blood. She handed her service weapon. Simon emerged victorious from the fight with Nate, breaking his arm. So badly that bone was sticking out. But before he could finish him off, Sherry shot her brother. Unfortunately, she came too close and Simon managed to disarm her. He began beating Sherry. Crawling on the pavement, Nate spotted a syringe filled with adrenaline. And drove the jagged bone in his arm into Simon's head, finally killing him. Then he collapsed. Clerk woke up in the hospital. He had suffered heart failure, a brain hemorrhage, and multiple broken bones.
Had some major blood loss, and a heart attack, and a brain hemorrhage, and third-degree burns, and a lot of broken bones.
But you're okay now. It's a Christmas miracle. Doctors kept him in a coma for 3 weeks. Nate had committed many crimes, but because he saved a police officer's life. Also, you're a white guy who works for a bank, so the judge took it easy on you. 6 months house arrest. Sherry, however, received a real prison sentence. 1 year passes. Nathan, fully recovered, visits Sherry in prison. She's near the end of a short sentence for her role in the robbery. They share a slice of cherry pie. First date anniversary. He shows her his chest tattoo, the one that was incomplete the night they first got close. It's finished now. The guard gives them a warning about getting too comfortable. Sherry is led back to her cell. Nathan stays in his seat, smiling, still slowly chewing his pie. The man who was told he wouldn't live long. The man who was beaten in high school and called Novocaine as a joke. He's still here.